Okay, well hello out there everybody. This is Alex with Project Canine, and we're here with Bosque, the German Shepherd. Right about there, you see Bosque. Bosque, sit. Now, there you go. So he knows a good bit of some basic commands. He wasn't very solid. He's had a good few sessions today. Bosque, heel. So we've been teaching him a few different things at this point. One of them is the place command at this right now. So what we're doing is put him on a cot elevated. Place. Nah. Place. And he's still getting a little bit better with it. He's only done this one or two other times before. So place is a command where they're on something different. That's either a field. It could be a towel. It could be an elevated cot. It could be a bed. It could be anything you choose that's different from the surrounding surface. If it's elevated, I teach it on an elevated standpoint because it's more of a step for them to get down off of the barrier. And it teaches them basically to stay in that spot. So what we're doing is teaching place, teaching him to stay there, and he has to stay there until we release him. Now here's where it gets tricky. Most people, when they teach the stay command, they teach stay, and then they call the dog. They say come, they say here, they call the dog to them. I don't really believe that's right. I do it every once in a while, so that in case of emergency, I can still call the dog from a stay command. But I mix it up more often than not, to where I actually have to give them a special release command, not just a verbal command, but a physical touch with a verbal command. So if I sit here and he doesn't know it yet, I'll say sit, break, blah, okay, yes, release, all these other different words, and I'm going to sit here and I'm going to throw all these words at them constantly, and just different words in general that people would use to release. I tend to use break because it's not a word that comes up very often in conversation. Years ago I used the word okay, and I'd look at my wife and I'd say okay honey, and the dogs would be gone. So it's not a good release word. So I find break is, you don't necessarily say it unless you actually physically break something. Bosque, no. Sit. Stay. Place. So we don't technically use a lot of different verbal stuff at this point. I am right now for the purpose of the camera, because right now I would just put him on the cot and I would walk around with what we call yeah, I'm doing a lot of talking, so it's going to distract them. What I would do what's called the traffic cop, which is the step. You show them the hand. At this point, we're not doing that right this second. We're Bosque, sit. We're just trying to get him there, and after a little bit of time frame, once he understands from the body language, I'll introduce the words so his owners can actually go ahead and have him listen to them even more. But at this point, the words don't really mean anything. But if I'm going to release him, I will actually go up to him and say, break, and then he can get released. But until that standpoint, place, no, place, come on, up, stay, place, place, and we'll eventually get to the point to where he's not on a leash anymore. He's on the e-collar. I was starting conditioning him the correct way with the e-collar. Right now we have it set on number 10. I don't know if y'all can see it or not. Number 10 out of 100. So it's a very low. He can barely feel it. If I put it on my hand right now and set it, I won't feel it till about at least 20 something. At 10, it's nothing there. So I wouldn't worry about anything, and he's doing really good. Now, the way you teach, now we were working on heel as well. Bosque, break, heel, come on, heel. See, this is where most people make a big mistake, and the big mistake is going ahead and saying the word heel in the wrong spot. This is very hard to do with holding a selfie stick, by the way. Bosque, sit. So it's very hard to do. So what you're going to do at this point is you're going to actually go ahead and say the word heel only when he's in the heel position. Because most people do is they'll say it, oh, nope, heel, and they'll give the command, but the dog doesn't know the command. The dog's all the way in front of you, or the dog's way behind you and they're saying heel. The dog doesn't understand what that is. They don't know what you mean. So we're going to go, no, no. A little bit of leash pressure, y'all, makes a big difference in their not only their atmosphere, their demeanor, their attitude, everything. Just a little bit of leash pressure sometimes. Bosque, come. Heel. Nuh-uh. Heel. Come. Come on. Bosque, here. Heel. Here. No, wrong side. Heel. Now, yeah, he is very distracted right now. Because, watch, we're going to sit in a second. Bosque, sit. Sit. Hey. Bosque, sit. Yo, I am screwing up here. I am saying, I'm doing what I tell everybody not to do. You want to say sit one time. I'm focusing on the camera way too much at this point, and I am screwing up. I'm sorry, y'all. You want to say sit. He doesn't sit. You give him a little bit of leash pressure, he sits. It's more understandable for him. So now back to why he's being distracted. Behind me here, let's see if I can get a good shot. We have a few of the dogs. We have a white German Shepherd. We have a yellow lab, black lab puppy, another black lab, and another German Shepherd in there. So being that said, he is very distracted. At this point, I'm not even going to tell him to sit. I didn't release him from the sit. So I'm going to have to give him a correction, y'all. I'm sorry for this. Hold on, I need the other hand, sorry. And you only use 2 fingers on the butt. And they will sit. I'm not going to sit here and push a lot of pressure. If I push all that pressure on a sit, it's going to cause them to actually fight back and push more. I just want him to have a nice little sit. He's not supposed to get up unless I tell him to or give him another command. Bosque, here. Heel. Nuh-uh. And he's supposed to sit. There you go. He started to make the decision once I started picking up my hand. So he's learning right now is the hand gesture right here above his head. Typically when I'm not holding the selfie stick thing right here and videoing, I have a little bit better aiming and a little better control of him actually seeing the leash and not seeing the leash. I have 2 different hands instead of 1, so it's a little bit different. But let's go again. Heel. Sit. And he sits. And he's still right there behind so he's basically behind my heel. I don't know if you can actually see my foot or not. My heel's right here. He's actually behind the heel where he should be. He's not in front of the heel. He's not way behind me, way back there. He is right where he needs to be. His nose is basically, if he would put his nose on the ground right now, it would be touching my heel. That's where I like heel. Because he's behind me, I can kind of look down. He's still right there. I have control. Eventually, we're going to take all this and move it straight to an e-collar, where I have control in just the e-collar, and he'll be able to go ahead and be a much better dog off leash as well. So, Bosque, come. Sit. It took him a minute. He's still learning. Like I said, there's only his first full day, basically second session with me today. And he didn't get any yesterday. Since I got him yesterday, I let him rest and get used to the other dogs in the new place. We will keep you updated with more progress as he goes.